Get back to the portkey, everybody, and stick together!
The Death Eater attack at the Quidditch World Cup was so confusing. I had a feeling something drastic would happen, as not many events in the Harry Potter books go unspoiled, so it was kind of a case of, well, something bad is going to happen at one point. But the Death Eaters dressing up in their old robes and then trying to cause some mayhem, some panic, when there hasn't been any recorded group attacks of a similar nature since Voldemort's days, just confused the hell out of me. Like, what spurred this on? What was it in relation to? Why did it happen? Let's delve into the situation and let's uncover what was going on with the Death Eater attack at the Quidditch World Cup. Okay guys, so let's get a quick recap of what happened at the Quidditch World Cup. After the Irish team defeated the Bulgarians to become world champions, the campsite celebrated and partied long into the night. Harry, Hermione and the Weasleys all stayed up and talked about their favourite moments of the game. It was only when Ginny fell asleep at the table that Arthur ushered everyone off to bed. Not much time had passed before the commotion outside woke up everyone in the tent. Fred assumed it was most likely the Irish still enjoying themselves, but his face changed dramatically when he seen cloaked individuals burning tents and causing mayhem. Things rose to the next level when the mob began tormenting a Muggle man and his family. It was quite clear that they had set upon finding more Muggles to award them the same fate as the Roberts family. It was quite a frightening sight. Nobody had seen the Death Eaters in over a decade, so there was no doubt that this would cause a panic to say the least, maybe create some rumours, some uncertainty that the Dark Lord could possibly return. Should that's who they've always done their work in the name of, Voldemort, except there was one small issue. This attack had absolutely nothing to do with Voldemort. They were not acting under his orders, they were not even aware of his existence, let alone his impending return. These men had all integrated back into society. Some of them had even gotten off without any consequence for their actions during the First Wizarding War. Most notably Lucius Malfoy, who claimed he was under the Imperius Curse, a statement I feel that every single one of us knew was false. So what was going on with this attack? How did it happen? Well, the truth is, the reason has never been revealed, nor the exact people behind it, but judging from Draco Malfoy's hints while watching the attack from the forest, his father had something to do with it. At first, I believed it wasn't planned. These people had resumed their normal lives years ago, as I've said. It would be so unlike the Death Eaters to put themselves back in the spotlight without the protection of Voldemort. It's also no secret that these wizards had all remained friends since the days of the past, as they still shared the same pureblood beliefs. An event like the Quidditch World Cup is a reason for them to gather on a more sociable level, and with social interaction comes alcohol and reminiscing over the glory days. I genuinely believe that's what happened. I think we get a good insight from the following description. Loud jeering, roars of laughter, and drunken yells were drifting towards them. Then came a burst of strong green light, which illuminated the scene. A crowd of wizards, tightly packed and moving together with wands pointing straight upwards, was marching slowly across the field. I'd assume a drunken conversation about the state of the current climate of the wizarding world could have arisen. Many could have wondered if the world still feared the Death Eaters. Did they still have what it took? Could they still install fear into the hearts of so many? They wanted to feel relevant. They wanted to feel powerful once again. Don't forget that, while many of Voldemort's followers believed in his cause, there were some who simply joined his ranks so they could torture Muggles and Muggleborns. Many of them thoroughly enjoyed harming others, and I think that showed with the torment of the Roberts family as I mentioned earlier. They were all subjected to being levitated and dragged around in mid-air, and that included his 2 young children and his wife. That was probably the worst part. These people who were supposed to be representing pureblood ideology, playing with children as if they were disposable. But that's a whole other topic for another day. There's also the argument for the other side of the coin, and that's if it was indeed planned. For example, the Death Eaters just so happened to have all their robes and masks with them. Although with that being said, it really does just take the wave of a wand to place their mask on their face and also remove it because it was a magical mask. The attack looked like it could have been organised to be carried out right after the celebrations have ended. I feel like the attack happened for a number of reasons, as the Death Eaters were made up of people who were interested in different things. I've said that some just joined so they could torture muggles, which is true. Some joined in order to feel powerful. Some genuinely believed in what Voldemort was doing. They wanted to fight for him. It's best understood in the description from the book. They were a motley collection, a mixture of the weak seeking protection, the ambitious seeking some shared glory, and the thuggish gravitating toward a leader who could show them more refined forms of cruelty. The facts are, they did a lot of damage. The riot caused panic. Rumours spread like wildfire. It put pressure on the Ministry also. It done exactly what it was intended to do. The irony is that it coincidentally happened as Voldemort was seeking to return to power. When Barty Crouch Jr. shouted Mors Morda and fired the Dark Mark into the sky, the Death Eaters themselves were shocked but more so scared. They panicked. None of them would ever perform Mors Morda as their wands could be traced back to the very last spell. But even so, the sight of the Dark Mark made them all feel so uneasy, which shows that they were really just on a power trip, trying to relive their old glory days until they were dragged back to reality. If you ask me, they got drunk and felt like being brave, felt like they had a point to make. Although they were not aware of Voldemort's current state, not aware of his existence, he was all too aware of theirs. He was all too aware of their actions, their every move. The following year, Lucius Malfoy himself openly denied seeing any signs of his master's existence from the following text in the book in Little Hangleton Graveyard. "My lord, I was constantly on the alert," came Lucius Malfoy's voice swiftly from beneath the hood. "Had there been any sign from you, any whisper of your whereabouts, I would have been at your side immediately. Nothing could have prevented me, and yet you ran from my mark when a faithful Death Eater sent it into the sky last summer," said Voldemort lazily, and Mr. Malfoy stopped talking abruptly. "Yes, I know all about that, Lucius. You have disappointed me. I expect more faithful service in future." So guys, I've looked at it from both sides. If it was planned or unplanned, I've told you what I believe myself. So if I can sum up this whole attack from my own personal point of view, I believe they obviously did not think of themselves as true Death Eaters that night. Again, this goes against the notion of pre-planning. Had it been a coordinated attack, I think they'd have been far more receptive to the Dark Mark, as it meant another follower of the cause was nearby. But instead, they ran. They fled. They fled because they knew that they weren't Death Eaters conducting an attack that night, but rather a bunch of drunken, thug-like idiots imitating the Death Eaters that they all once were. Obviously, that wouldn't sit well with any real follower, and certainly not with Voldemort himself if he had somehow returned. So guys, with that being said, that is my video explanation on why the Death Eaters attacked the Quidditch World Cup. So make sure to comment your own views down below because I'd love to know what you all think. Also, I'd just like to add that there will be plenty more content going forward in the month of June. I'll also be doing several update on-screen videos to talk about the progress of Riddle and Animated Story, my upcoming series based on the early years of Tom Riddle, aka Lord Voldemort. I'm going to be talking characters, showing new artwork. There's also going to be a limited number of artwork from the series for sale too, so it's really starting to get exciting. I've actually just revamped my Patreon to link it together with the Riddle series. Anyway guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you all in the next video and have a great day. Thank you so much for watching. I truly appreciate your support. Everyone, notifications of uploads are more important than ever. So please, if you haven't already, turn those notifications on to make sure you're notified the moment my video goes live. Making videos is what I love to do. It's my dream and my passion. However, it does cost time and money to produce this content. So if you have $1 to spare to support me on Patreon in exchange for some exclusive unseen content, then you can click the Patreon link below or at the end of this video. Please only support me if you can afford it. And make sure to follow me on Instagram at InstaDeanJ and on Twitter at PotterFolklore. Check out my other videos appearing on screen, and please make sure, most importantly, to hit that subscribe button. Thanks again everyone, and please have a great day.